Well, I must admit, she had to go sometime, but I was surprised at the timing. We had the results a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't had the bank AGM yet, so it seemed a bit a difficult time. But having said that, she's left succession plans well in place. We all knew she was going to retire at some point, and so she's chosen a good time.
And what legacy does she leave at Westpac?
Well, I think she leaves a great legacy. I think she's been a truly great boss of Westpac. She started there in 2008, just before the worst of the financial crisis. And through that period, she's really led Westpac to the top on just about every bank metric. In stock price terms, the bank's just on price appreciation is up 26% over that period, whereas the overall market's down by about 6%. The only bank that's outperformed, and it's outperformed just about everything, is Commonwealth Bank. But on every sort of metric you'd care to use, Gail Kelly's done a fantastic job.
So she's really hit it out of the park. But is there any suggestion that she's getting out at the right time, or is she leaving the bank in good shape?
I think both. She's leaving it at a great time. I think it's interesting, some figures came out the other day that the average length of a big company's CEO is just 2 and a bit years. So she's been there for about 6 years. So I think probably 2 and a bit years is too short. 6 years to me is just about right. Because the trouble with the big bank, especially at Westpac, she had Brian Hartzer, who will take her place, in the wings and the sort of the nominated heir apparent. There was Rob Whitfield, who runs the Westpac institutional branch, equally highly regarded, and in some schools the likely contender. So she had a succession plan well in place, and she's chosen, or the board has chosen, Hartzer as expected. And so an internal succession is always a lot better than external, and so I would think she's done this very well.
Now, speaking of Hartzer, what do we know about him?
Well, Brian's highly regarded in the market. He first came to light when he ran the ANZ retail bank, and he was an heir apparent when John McFarlane left the bank, but instead they chose Mike Smith, who of course has done a good job too. Hartzer left not long after that, and then he's been running the bank in the UK, so he's very highly experienced, and he's been now at Westpac now for a couple of years, and so he knows the bank well, and it should be a seamless transition.
Now, it is also worth noting that Gail Kelly was the first woman to run one of the big banks, and in leaving there is now none. Was her role as that first female CEO of a bank an important one as well?
Oh, absolutely. She was a standout leader for women in business in Australia, and so her leaving, I'm not sure what she'll be doing next, but I'm sure she'll be highly sought after, because she really was a role model for women executives throughout Australia. She was a wonderful, engaging leader, and was very free with her time to the cause of women in executive leadership. So that transition will be missed. Yeah.
And just finally, do you think that she'll be fondly remembered as a CEO? Do you think she's left a strong legacy?
Undoubtedly. I think Westpac's in terrific shape. It's like the Commonwealth Bank is lucky in that it's mainly it's got a very strong housing book, and we're leaving at a boom time. She's leaving before the big regulatory fight with the government over capital levels, and that's probably good too, because it's good to have some. I mean, Brian Hartzer's a different style. Interestingly, Kelly and Mike Smith at ANZ have been the two protagonists, I guess, the two most outspoken critics of high capital levels, and Hartzer will be a little bit softer on that, which I think is probably not a bad idea.
Terrific. John Durie, thank you very much.
Thank you.